Hello and thanks for joining me again. Here's what we've got coming up in this episode. It's a Lima Gold Series model. It's number 149749 and it's a Lufthansa Airport Express 4-car set. I'm really looking forward to having a look at this. Let's check it out. So here is the set in its box. I got this second-hand obviously. The box is looking not too bad. It does have a couple of rips in it. It's quite a large impressive box and it also advertises on the front that it has working pantographs if you want to use it. So let's get this open and we'll have a look. The model here is presented in this polystyrene tray. It seems to hold the model very securely. Now, I'm not a big fan of Lima, but this is a Gold Series model. I'm assuming that's top of the range for Lima, so I'm expecting quite a lot from this model. So let's get it out and we'll have a look. There's an instruction sheet here which shows how to switch it between two-rail and overhead connection, and it has some warnings here in German. That's not much use for me, I don't speak German, so I hope I don't break this because this looks quite serious, but I have no idea what it's saying. So immediately what strikes you is the fantastic paint job here. The light grey and the rich yellow along with the lettering really does look quite nice. Let's look at them in turn though. We'll start off with the power car. This is quite an unusual design of train that Deutsche Bahn have produced, and this model from Lima has really captured that look at the front. It almost looks like Daffy Duck or something. It's quite a strange looking thing, and these lights at the front really make it look quite interesting. It has the Deutsche Bahn transfer here on this hatch, and the windows are moulded in very clear plastic. They have windscreen wipers moulded onto the plastic as well. The surround is being masked off and painted in black. You can see that it's a little bit fuzzy on the edges here. There's a dummy coupling at the front and there's no way you can remove that and add someone else into there. So you're kind of stuck with just pulling the 4 coaches that you've got in this pack and that's it. Looking further down you can see that the windows have this nice black surround, but the plastic of the body is quite thick, so you can see the edges of the windows here in grey. So while they have this black surround, it's kind of spoiled by that grey of the plastic. So a little bit of delicate painting with some black would really improve the look of the windows in this one. The windows are slightly smoked, but there is an interior inside there with some seating, and you can see here printed very clearly the Lufthansa Airport Express logo, and there's also printing down here underneath the main part of the body. These are too small to actually see with the naked eye, but it's nice that they're there, and there's some nice details of grills and various panels here along the bottom. As we move down to the back of the carriage, you can see another door here moulded in and some more vents, and again Lufthansa Airport Express printed here. So this is the powered bogie, and you'll see from the moulding that there's a lot of detail here. It's really been nicely rendered. It's a lot of deep relief on it. There is indication of brake shoes, but they're nowhere near the wheels, the motor. You can see it straight away through the windows. They've done nothing to hide the fact that the motor's in there. And it looks like almost like one of those kind of Hornby Ringfield motors that it's got. Power comes down to this bogie and you can see that both the axles are powered. You've got gears on both of them, and it has traction tyres, polystyrene there as well, which will need to come off. And finally the coupling here is quite a simple affair, and it's moulded onto the bogie. It does have quite a lot of movement back and forth to get this round corners, and it'll really need that because it's a very long model. Up on the roof there's this metal wire here in copper. That's quite a nice addition. It's been run through these little imitation insulators made of plastic, and there's other parts added on top here as well. The pantograph is made of metal and it's spring loaded. It's quite a nice little design that, and the pickup there is in copper. And further down on the roof there's various silver vents added on as extra pieces of plastic, and at the very front there's a horn here as well. The front bogie here is just free running, and it will pick up power as well and send it back to the motor. You can see the screw here which was talked about in the instructions, which can switch this between overhead or two-rail pickup. So let's have a look at one of the coaches. So this is the first coach here. It has quite a nice detailed gangway here through to the other carriages, and some indication of couplings down here. Is just fake though, but it's quite nice that that's been moulded. And you can see the simple coupling that this one has got. It's just a slot which the other plastic part fits into, but I think that's all it needs. And there's quite a lot of articulation here as well, because again it'll need it. The bogies are the same kind of moulding as you saw in the power car. And looking down this carriage, it has the same issue with the windows, but it's slightly different in the interior. This is more kind of like aircraft seating. Again, you see the Lufthansa Airport Express, and you get the number up here, 404003-6. Up on top, it's similar to the power car. You've got this metal cable running the whole length of the coach, and some other little bits of plastic added on, including the insulators, and again some silver panels here. I think these are probably air conditioners and various vents. And at this end you get another collection of little parts that have been added on. So there's quite a good representation of the electric gear on top of these coaches. Let's have a look at the other one. So this one is similar but slightly different. It's a different seating arrangement, and so therefore the windows are different. It's got the number 404-103-4. Again, the Lufthansa Airport Express printed there very nicely. And inside you can see that the seating is arranged more in a 2x2 with some tables. It has a similar arrangement on the roof to the first coach. It has this copper wire running the whole length of the carriage and these insulators and silver parts added on. So don't be fooled, this copper wire doesn't actually connect up, so it's just there for looks. But it's quite nice that they've added that on. Let's have a look at the final power car. So this is very similar to the first one that we saw, but it doesn't have a motor in it, so it's a lot lighter. It has the number 403-005-2, and it has all the same design as the power car. When you come down here though, there's no ugly motor inside, so they have actually put some seating, which is quite good. And it does have a pantograph here as well. It's the same as the one on the power car, but this I guess is used to power some lighting at the front of this carriage. So underneath it's just the same bogies as on the coach. So let's see if we can get this to run. So we've got this on the test track now. This is Hornby third radius track, and you can see because of the length of this model it does have quite a lot of overhang as well, so that's something to be aware of if you're considering this for a smaller model railway layout. Anyway, let's give this some power and we'll see what happens. Well, it's not the quietest model in the world, but it didn't seem to stutter that much. I did notice that the slow speed wasn't very good. It can be a bit problematic getting going. So this is a problem you're going to get on tighter corners, that these coaches have such length to them, they're going to swing out, and it looks very unrealistic when it's going around these corners, especially on a transition like this. So the model seemed to run okay. Let's see how much they weigh. The power car weighs 317 grams. The first coach weighs 202 grams. The second coach weighs 207 grams. And finally the dummy power car weighs 211 grams. So this has been an interesting set to look at. Lima have done quite well in modelling this, and it's certainly a very interesting prototype to choose and make a model of. It really does have some characterful looks to it, and I think it'll be very appealing in that respect. The colour is also very good as well. I love the grey and the rich yellow, it's a very nice combination, and the printing of the logos on this model is very nice as well. There are some really nice details on this that I like. The bogies have been moulded very well. I like the pantographs, they're very detailed and quite a nice addition. And I also like the fact that it's got these wires running down the length of the coaches, which really gives the impression of these having an electrical circuit on there. Some of the downsides to this model though is the windows are really letting it down. I think it could benefit from having some paint added onto those windows. The motor and mechanism isn't very good either. It's fine if you have this running at speed, but at slow speeds I think it will be a bit stuttery and a bit unrealistic. So pulling into a station or pulling out of a station is going to look a bit odd. I think for the sheer quirkiness of the looks, I think this is a model well worth getting. It does look really impressive, and if you have a model railway layout that's big enough to run this 4-car EMU on it and doesn't have tight corners, then I think it's going to look really fantastic. If you've got a smaller layout, I think you'll struggle with this and you won't get the benefit of what it can fully look like. So I'd maybe pass on something a bit smaller. So finally, I would say well done to Lima for making this model. It would make a really nice addition to anyone's collection, and it would be very interesting if you can run it on a large club layout. I'll put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around. Let me know what you thought about this video and my analysis of these models in the comments below. I'd really be interested to hear what you think. Please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps this channel, and you can subscribe for more videos like this in the future. But for now, that's it for today. See ya!